Hello everyone, welcome along to At Odds each and every week, courtesy of unibet.com.au. We know it's your favourite show, it's our favourite show as well. Brian Fletcher, Mark Waugh, Shane Hill, they're all on telly, but they do prefer this show more than any of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Look at me.
Truth. He's wearing the kit,
Shirt, everything.
and you've been up there, no power, fighting fires, everything's going on up there.
Back in winners, everything's going on.
Oh yeah, congratulations. Trumbull finally had a bit of luck, just went out there in front.
We all backed it, didn't we?
We were all on,
Yes.
and hopefully the
Swing
listeners
boys,
and
thank
viewers
you.
were as
Swing.
well.
No.
And then you had one at Port Macquarie, Brookman.
Something out wide, yeah.
Yes, $14. You've got to keep in touch with junior.com.au/tips.
That's it.
And then you'll get all the
and
money.
Hammer's tipping every basketball game.
Hammers tipping
Going
every
round.
basketball.
Like a
Australia,
charity.
New Zealand won the cricket. So it's been a fat week for the team. We'll get into that very shortly, but let's go around the grounds, talk some sporting stories. And speaking of cricket, you're going to Adelaide. You've just been in Brisbane for the one-day final. Australia, it was almost anticlimactic, and even Brisbane didn't care. Very low crowds.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad crowd, but Pakistan they're okay in patches. I thought a few of them batted well at certain times, and their bowling was okay, but just not enough consistency to beat us. I think Adelaide, there's a bit of rain forecast in Adelaide, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop Australia getting the job done there as well.
And New Zealand did a real good job on England, as predicted.
That was actually a good game to watch. I actually preferred that game to our game. Pretty even contest, but I think Trent Boult and Kane Williamson have got injury clouds for the next test this week, so maybe be careful if you want to back up on New Zealand there.
There is a bit of chatter about Joe Burns and whether he should have been in the Ashes test series after his performance in the Brisbane game. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if Joe Burns had played in the Ashes series, he probably wouldn't have played in Brisbane because the bowling and the duke ball was just too tough for the top order batting in that Ashes series. So I think he probably would have failed in England. So I reckon glad he missed England.
What do you mean by the Duke ball? I mean, I know it's a
different
brand,
ball.
but how?
Okay. Well, the Duke ball has got a more pronounced seam. It's thicker seam and it stays harder. The ball stays harder than the kookaburra. So it obviously deviates off the pitch a bit more and swings a bit more than the kookaburra, which gets soft as well. After about 20 overs, it does bugger all. So it's much tougher to bat in England against
Who
the
gets
Duke.
to choose the ball? Do you get to choose what company,
no,
what make?
Well, in Australia, it's a kookaburra
You
ball.
have to play the kookaburra?
I don't think you have
It's a
to, but
sponsor
I think
thing,
they might have the contract with
deal
Cricket
or
Australia.
something, right, yeah.
Whereas in England, you've got the Duke ball. In the West Indies and India, I think it's a Duke as well. Could be wrong. I think South Africa's a kookaburra, actually.
What about Kiwis? What do they use?
Cookers.
Do they as well?
Cookers, yeah, yep.
Steve Smith frosted up a little bit about I think it was the bunny signal from.
Seven.
Yes,
They put
he's
seven.
sharp.
Put him
Seven,
out
was
seven
it? Seven?
times.
He has, but for how many runs? That's the thing. Like Phil Tufnell got me out, I don't know, 6 times, but I hammered him. I got 1,000 runs, so...
Is he your bunny? Oh, sorry, were you his bunny?
Well...
Tough as a
he
good
got me
bunny.
out a lot, but I smashed
Yeah.
him, so...
Yeah, but he's
I mean,
still your bunny.
He got him out trying to hoik him over mid-wicket.
What was your highest score against him?
Reverse sweep. Oh, I got plenty of hundreds. So, I mean, he got... well, I did. I smashed him.
Yeah.
He got me out, but he's not really...
Steve Smith hasn't got a bunny. They were talking about Steve. It was always going to happen. The promos from Channel 7 was the new Bradman coming. He was always going to get a low score. Everyone else gets hundreds.
How many wickets do you need to get before you're called his bunny? Because Warney was Cullinan.
Yeah,
but
well,
Cullinan
I suppose
never made double
if
figures.
someone gets you out probably 6 or 8 times...
That's what you call a bunny.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
Okay, Australia
Anyway.
$1.20.
Australia should win.
Pakistan $9. The draw's $9. Again, you might get a little bit of value if the toss goes the other way, but well, I don't care what's going to happen. It's only going to be a 4-day test, you would think, unless something really goes wrong. Pink test, was that going to make a
Well, the
difference?
pink ball actually, at night time, it's really tough, but during the day, that pink ball actually gets soft as well. So it's quite good to bat on at certain times, but at night time, it swings around corners.
Any value in the top run scorers? Smith $2.85, Warner, Labuschagne
Well-
$4.50. How good is he?
Yeah, he's going well. I think Bubba Azam, I know I tipped him last week, and he got a globe in the first innings, got 100 in the second innings, but I think he's Pakistan's best batsman, so I think he's a pretty good bet. I mean, the Aussies, anything could happen there.
Well, you did pick Wade to score well, and he was going on, but 184 or whatever it was, a hard number to beat, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, that's a lottery because they can all make hundreds, all those Australian batsmen.
What about the wicket takers?
I'm going Stark actually in Adelaide to swing that pink ball, especially at night time. Plus, he knocks over the tail for fun, and their last 3 batsmen cannot bat. They're 7 out, all out Pakistan. So there's 3 gift wickets to start with.
There's $3.50 about Mitchell Starc, line $5. And briefly before we move on, what did you think of the 16-year-old's debut? He got Warner twice, one didn't count, but I thought he went okay for a 16-year-old.
You give him a bit of lip too. Mate, imagine that at 16, giving David Warner a bit of lip.
Not only that, a week or so after
You'd do it, Hammer, for sure.
That's what I did.
a week or so after your mum
You were doing it
passed
14.
away,
We saw that photo.
he gets his debut and he's pinging them around their ears.
Yeah, no, he's got a bit of go in him. I'm not sure he is 16. He's got to be older than that.
What about his technique when he faced Stark and that for the
Yeah, but if you look like you
for the hat trick? No, it was all right. That's a good ball.
Basketball, if you've just joined us last week, His Royal Highness Shane Heal tipped 10 out of 11.
11
and
out of
was
11.
knocked off
Oh, yeah.
by overtime, Cairns in the other
for
game.
Hale. Yeah, we were up 3 with 5 seconds to go, and the Hawks dropped a 3 on the buzzer to send it overtime. So
Were you
bit
commentating
disappointing
at that time?
I was sideline. So
What'd you do? Drop the microphone?
Very
Oh,
hard to
very
communicate with you while you're on the sideline.
Yeah.
A bit of banter on our WhatsApp chat saying, "Come on, Hammer, lift," and you can hear him in the background.
What about LaMelo? There was talk he was going to be number 1 draft pick. Has
the only one picking him to be number 1 is Homicide Williams, who's a commentator.
Right.
And he's that
Is he
far
all
up
right? Is he
LaMelo,
still
it's
alive?
not funny. It's yeah.
I thought you said there's not much chop.
No, he's going to be a top 5 player. He's a great player. He can't shoot. His shot is terrible. So it's like a batsman that has poor technique that every now and again will have a big score. So he shoots 23% from the 3-point line because his technique's so bad. So the rest of his game is elite. He'll be an NBA star. He's a 6'6" point guard that his passing is off the charts. Passing is unbelievable. But he has to break down his shot in the off-season and start again. He's got to totally change his technique.
Are the scouts out here now? NBA scouts, they're coming.
He was general manager in the stands in Wollongong on Monday, but they're all out here. But the biggest thing is they're all watching online. We spoke about it a few weeks ago. 1.9 million people watched in the States and Canada.
So what's wrong with his technique?
Well, he shoots the ball from here. So if you
Like
imagine
us.
you shoot the ball from here, it's not going to go straight. So when you shoot it, it's all got to be
Isn't
in
that
one straight line.
a basic
thing.
technique?
Teach it in
Could
the
he do a
academy
week
to
at the
kick.
Shane Hill?
But
Take longer than a week.
hang on. If you didn't know Steve Smith was the best cricketer in the world and you looked at his style, you would say this kid's got a pretty average style.
Yeah. You can get away with it if you're performing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But if you've got a bad technique and you're not performing, well, you've got to do something about
It
it.
becomes harder too because you're talking about shooting the ball from so far out and off the dribble, so the degree of difficulty becomes harder again.
Okay, let's have a look
Superstar.
at the NBL first. We've got Brisbane $1.68 and the Southeast Melbourne $2.18.
They are cats, Brisbane. And,
Hang on.
Hang on,
We put them in the same class as
Perth.
So Perth are at least a quality team. Brisbane had so badly put together. That was our major tip last week. Was Melbourne
Brisbane
to
away,
win?
yep.
Melbourne to win by more than 6.5 and 11 plus. We got that done.
take it
I couldn't back Brisbane at $1.68. Southeast Melbourne have only played one game on the road and they got flogged. So that's the challenge for them. But I would much rather be backing Southeast Melbourne at $2.18 than Brisbane at $1.68.
Sydney and
The
Melbourne
Brisbane
should be
Cats.
another cracking crowd. We'll briefly get through this one. Sydney $1.63, Melbourne $2.28.
Yeah, I think Sydney win this. I think it'll be a lower margin though, 1-10 for them. Melbourne United are a quality team. This is the grand final preview for me.
Will you
Way over
incorporate
in
that
the
in your
West?
commentary? Sorry, Russ.
Yeah.
That word.
I'm not sure they will allow
Cats.
me to do that.
$1.28, $3.70 Adelaide.
Well, there's question marks for Perth. I wouldn't be taking the $1.28 right now because Tariko White, their superstar guard, didn't play last week. They lost on the road to Cairns, so I think that's way too skinny. Adelaide are a team that can surprise. If Tariko White plays, then maybe you'd adjust it.
And is there anything out of the NBA that we should be looking at
Sneaking
in the
out
next
wide.
couple of days?
Luka Doncic, this 20-year-old, I don't know whether you guys have seen him, you probably haven't. But
Good
he
name.
is a superstar.
Great name.
He is
Why is that a good
unbelievable.
name?
Just good.
Triple doubles like nothing else. One of the favourites now to be the MVP. So he's incredible to do these sort of things.
Hammer.
I like Miami, Toronto, and the Lakers have been the most consistent teams to back in the NBA.
Hammer, have you ever got a triple double?
No, my last game in the grand final, I was 1 rebound off. So, but no, there wasn't.
What if you
really
get a
my
triple?
game.
Is that like equivalent to a hat trick or 100 in cricket?
Probably happens more often in basketball now. But for me, being a guard, I wasn't a big rebounder. A lot had double figures.
What
in
about in
assists.
relationships?
It might be like that too,
Yeah.
a bit up and down.
Triple doubles.
Rebound, the
Oh,
rebound.
sorry, I didn't know what was going on there.
You got with a girlfriend and
you had me lost.
you just hook up with another one. No,
You had me
didn't
lost
do
with
that.
triples.
The rebounds.
Okay, the Winterbottom Stakes,
You're off your
second
head.
day of
Have a
the
stroke.
Perth Carnival.
Don't say that, he
No,
might.
I don't mean
In Sydney and Melbourne, they sort of drift off a bit. There's the odd listed race as the summer carnival gets up and running. Junior, this is the time to either put the cue in the rack or to really chase hard because you get some good horses against some not so good.
Mate, I
horses.
never put the cue in the rack as far
No,
as
good
racing
point.
is concerned. But the Winterbottom Stakes, look, I've got Trekking in my Hail Mary a bit later. Trekking's the best horse in the race, but he's been up for a while. You know, he's been...
This is the thing.
Been to Melbourne, been to Sydney, now he's in Perth. You know, he's had a tough campaign, but if he's right, you'd imagine he's right. They wouldn't take him out if he wasn't right. He wins. You know, he's the best horse in that race, Trekking.
And the other ones where you've still got plenty of opportunities in Sydney. We saw the stable come to fruition, but as a punter, do you just pick the eyes out of it? Because there's a lot of horses resuming now.
Put it this way, Russ, there's a winner in every race, so it doesn't matter what time of year. So
Just gotta,
you've still got to pick the eyes. If you're a smart punter, you're not going to have 1,000 bets a day like someone here.
What?
You've got to pick and choose, Pick
My
and
last
choose.
show, that's
Which
what-
is hard to do, isn't it, Russ?
It's
When
very
you're-
hard to do, but we are going to pick and choose our best bets of the weekend straight after this. You're watching At Odds, all thanks to Unibet. Don't forget all of the specials, promotions online, unibet.com.au. Let's go across to Mark Schwarzer, another one of the team, to talk about the EPL this week.
This week's early kickoff is Newcastle v Manchester City. Newcastle will be hoping for a below-par performance from City, and the beloved Tsunami rise for the occasion and give them a chance to get something out of this game. On paper, the 3 points should be transferred to the blue side of Manchester in advance. But as we all know, it's not that simple. Even at this stage of the season, Manchester City really can't afford any more slip-ups. We've had a couple of managerial changes already this season, and I'm pretty sure over the next week or two, there will be quite a few more. Someone who could well be next is Manuel Pellegrini. His West Ham are away to Chelsea, and after a very poor first half against Spurs last weekend that ultimately led to their defeat, Pellegrini can ill afford another slow start, this time against Frank Lampard's free-scoring side. Don't really see anyone else winning this one other than Chelsea. Sorry West Ham fans. Anyway, one of my old managers, Jose Mourinho, he's back where he belongs, in the dugout. And who would have thought that would even be possible at Spurs? The much loved and admired Mauricio Pochettino ultimately paid the price for their very inconsistent form in the Premier League over the last 6 months or so. As with most teams, when a new manager comes in, they look refreshed, rejuvenated, and hungry again. They'll be expected, and there'll be a ruthless demand from Jose on his players to continue their revival against Brighton this weekend, which I'm sure they will. Burnley are up against Crystal Palace at home on match day 14, and what an amazing job Sean Dyche has been doing over the years. They've continued to punch massively above their weight, and for most of the time with ease. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes continue to provide the goals and have formed a very solid partnership up front. A win could see them, if results go their way, jump up to 5th place. Unbelievable. Incredible. Who would have thought? Top of the table and early pace setters Liverpool have another great opportunity, at the very least, to keep their healthy lead in place when they take on Brighton and Anfield. With an incredible home record and a momentum that's been building, it really seems like it should only be a formality for them picking up another 3 points. So, all in all, I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I'm sure it's going to be another action-packed weekend of Premier League football. Can't wait.
Good on ya, Schwartzy. We'll come back with his Schwartz bets of the week very, very shortly. And as you saw,
How
the
stiff were we
trophy
last week?
in
Seriously.
front of Shane Hill. What'd you win this week, Hammer? $600. Fletch, $350. Junior, $300. Schwartzy and I, bupkis. But it was a fat weekend.
And a nostril away from my Hail Mary, and you were a nostril away from yours.
Yes, I'll just take it as
No.
the winner
So
this
what were
week,
you
mate.
saying?
Oh, yeah, I
600 up
sorry,
there.
yeah.
What were
sorry.
you a nostril away? What was your Hail
Oh,
Mary?
you didn't watch Broken Arrows into Trumbull?
Oh, Ghostly. Oh, great win. 40-1. Sorry to bring it up. Yes. Righto.
Arsey.
You can start us off because you got the cricket last week. What are we going to do this week?
Okay, we'll stick to cricket too, because that's what I'm supposedly quite good at. Australia to beat Pakistan.
Especially against Phil Tufnell.
Yeah. Australia to beat Pakistan and Adelaide,
Watch out, though.
unless there's 3 days of rain, that will happen. And then Babar Azam to be the top run scorer in the first innings for Pakistan. So,
Just on that, if you think the rain's, is it a sneaky $9 draw bet for you, just as a saver?
well, you can make up time, obviously. You can make up an hour each day. So unless there's a lot of rain, which I look at the forecast, there's a bit of rain.
Okay.
You could throw a sneaky $5
$10
on the
right
draw.
on.
But
Okay.
so that's my double.
Australia
Bubba
and Bubba.
Yep.
Fletch.
Yes, I'm going to NFL.
Oh, you're good at
as per
NFL,
last week.
are you?
Okay, Bears to beat the Lions. Seahawks, they're my team, -2.5 against the Vikings. Cowboys to beat the Bills, and the Packers, who weren't very impressive last
Packers
week.
stinking it up.
He's poor old Tom's having a shocker. Yeah, he's really 100 million a year. Packers to beat the Giants, about $7, they say.
Okay.
Right.
Hammer.
Boost it yourself up.
We are going to go Melbourne United again, coming good at the right time. -4.5 against Cairns into New Zealand. They've got some injury problems, but I still think they'll be too good for the Hawks head-to-head. And I think Sydney bounce back and beat Melbourne United's second game for them of the weekend. Get about $6.
I'm going the NFL because I can't win anywhere else. Bears, Cowboys and Saints, about $3.50. It's a Thanksgiving Day fill-up. Just swallow your turkey and cop a bit of that action. All three games, bang, 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 Thanksgiving Day. Allow to our American friends just sit back and enjoy. Mark Schwartz's bets are coming up shortly as well.
$1.12.
Now, no, they're good value, these ones. Junior, your Hale.
Hale. Okay, I'm going racing for my Hale. I'm going to Rose Hill for two of them. Race 7, Rainier a place. That's a Godolphin horse. Into Handle the Truth a place in race 8. And then we're going to Perth in the Winterbottom Trekking to Win. So I'm not sure what odds that'll be, but it should be probably about 20 to 1.
Go June.
Like that.
NFL again.
Ryan?
I'm going for all the favourites minus the start. So the Browns -2.5 against the Steelers, the Jets -3.5 against the Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs -9.5 against the Raiders.
No racing this week.
No, I've given up. I've given up.
Give up, never won
But
anything.
what about Whiskey Right last week? Remember talking about that?
Oh, the dog.
The
Dish
dog.
lickers.
It won.
Oh,
Did I tell
very
you that?
good,
I
mate.
told
Well
you the
done.
back. And it's $5, second favourite in the Melbourne Cup. Sandown Friday
Hooked on
night.
Scotch wins by
Whiskey.
10.
When you tip that is your
Whiskey
Hale.
Right. It's only
Yeah,
$5.
yeah, it's a good dog.
All right. I can't believe
Good
you guys
dog.
talk dogs. Melbourne, 11+
Dogs are good.
against Cairns. New Zealand -3 against the Hawks. And we're going southeast Melbourne, who are underdogs, 1 to 10 against Brisbane. We're going to get about $20 for that. And I'm coming after Junior.
Yeah, there's only $35 or thereabouts
Give it
between
your best, son.
third and last. And so we need Marcus Labuschagne to
Leave
get
it Marnus will do.
Marnus, whatever his name is, 36 runs he's got to get. Wade 31 and Payne 22. That's my Hail Mary there. Around about 750. I just need him to get a start. The pop gun attack from Pakistan, not enough to stop us.
750 Hale.
Yeah. I just need to get in front of you guys. I've only got 2 shows to go. We've just got to
You need a 30 to 1 pop.
fall
mate.
over the
Not a
line to beat
$7.50
you.
Hale.
Let's have a listen to Mark Schwarzer and this week's Schwarzer bets.
Hi guys, my slam dunk for this week is Schalke to beat Union Berlin, Liverpool to beat Brighton, and Leeds to beat Middlesbrough, as well as Leicester to beat Everton. And my Hail Mary is Hertha Berlin to beat Borussia Dortmund, and Norwich to beat Arsenal. And for my match multi, I'm going to go for Leicester City to beat Everton by 2.5 goals, with Jamie Vardy being on the score sheet. And by the way, Warry mate, you know it's like being at the top. You're like Liverpool mate, and I'm the chasing pack. 2 weeks to go. I'm after you.
Back we come again, just to wrap up the show. Now, a lot of traction online, Brian, about Valentine Holmes Rugby League. It's been finished for 2 months, but still there's plenty to talk about. Valentine Holmes finishes the NFL career, signs a multi-million-dollar deal with the Cowboys. He was always going there.
It was always going to happen. He's from up there. Obviously, his wife is up there as well. Look, they're going to have to play him fullback, which is the money he's on. He has to play fullback. But there's a kid who's up there, his name's Scott Drinkwater, who I think is phenomenal. He only played 6 or 7 games this year. Look, Val's a terrific player. He did a lot of his damage playing on the wing and representing football. As a fullback now, you've got to be able to ball play. And I think the only criticism you have of Valentine Holmes is terrific runner when he gets into space. I don't think he's got that passing game yet, which you can't play. I mean, you can play him on the wing, but for $1 million a year, you want to get more out of him.
He's got 6 years to learn how to pass now.
Well,
7 years or whatever it was.
I know.
And
Contracts
Latrell,
don't mean anything. Latrell, the Latrell saga goes on. Now the Titans have jumped in. Goodness me, if he's going to the Titans, it's
Not the best spot
Not
for
the
him.
best,
Gold
no.
Coast, is it, surely?
it's being dragged out poorly at the moment. If you had your choices.
There's the accusations his managers have been shopping him around, and people have. Look, I think it's either the West Tigers or I reckon South Sydney. South Sydney, especially with Sam Burgess now retiring, there's no Greg Inglis, so they've got a little bit of money in their salary cap. There was talk he was going to go there, but the Roosters, as they do, won't allow him to play there next year because he's still under contract with the Chooks. So
And
that's
most of
only
the
club
chooks are currently in LA at a training camp.
Well, they let you
How
go.
good.
They let you go, didn't
Well, they let good players go sometimes. They're in Vegas actually. Nick
For
always
another
takes it.
training camp.
Oh gosh, wouldn't it be good to be 21 again?
Yes, it would be. Okay, whatever you're doing this weekend, make sure you get involved at unibet.com.au. Friday uplift on all the races, and of course Saturday race one right around Australia, and the Unibet reboosts continue to happen. And of course, all of our best bets are boosted, and hopefully only I win and I can retain that third spot. And you both
That's
lose.
long
But
odds, that one.
hopefully, whatever you're doing, you have a great time at it, and we'll see you next week, which is our last show for 2019. But I'm guaranteeing you we'll be back in 2020.